In this video, we're going to be talking about how often you should actually be releasing music, and specifically, should you be releasing music every 1 to 2 weeks, like several people on the internet have said. And part of this was inspired by a little bit of a feud that's happening, a little bit of drama per se, between Musformation or Jesse Cannon and Nic D, who also goes by FRDI for artists. Jesse made this video called This Guy's Advice Destroys Musician Streams, and Nic D responded in this video, My Advice is Destroying Your Streams, ? And it's kind of related to that, but I also want to just give my opinion on how fast should you release music, what types of people can release faster music, etc. First, I want to get out of the way that I think both Nic D and Jesse Cannon give great advice. I don't agree on everything that both of them say, but for the most part, I think they both give great advice. Nic D has a lot of clout, he's got a lot of monthly listeners, he's got a big TikTok following, he clearly has a great understanding of how social media works because he's blown up multiple accounts, not just on YouTube, but on TikTok especially. He's blown up multiple separate brands of content. He doesn't just have his music, he has like an entertainment thing, and then he has this artist thing, and then etc. Right? So, but Jesse Cannon also has produced a lot of pretty big name records, and he's worked with so many big artists over the years. He has like one of the best books on music marketing. It's huge. It's ridiculously large book for music marketing, but it's fantastic. So both these guys give great advice, but they disagree here. So what do you do in the situation when two people that you might listen to separately don't agree, but you like both of them? And I think in this case, I think the answer is somewhere in the middle, as it usually is. So a big part of Nic's strategy, and I'm going to be paraphrasing here because I don't want to go through the nitty-gritty, but basically he's very much like content first. He focuses on making great content for his music page, and then the music is part of that content. And he does this really fast, like releasing a new song every 1 to 2 weeks kind of a pace. Jesse doesn't think that that's reasonable. He thinks that's way too fast and is causing more problems than it's worth, and that his strategy isn't good. I don't think Nic's strategy is ever supposed to have been something that's for everyone. In fact, like if you were to ask me, should you release like Nic D or Russ, for example? Russ is a big hip-hop artist that famously released a song every single week for like a year or two, and he credits that to what made him pop off. I think 95% of you watching this video should not release music faster than every 4 weeks. It's impractical for you to be able to keep up the quality for each song and actually have good music that people want to listen to, and also give each song a proper like marketing campaign and a fair shot in a 1 to 2 week time frame. It's just absurd. So many of you, even if you think you can do it, once you start doing it, you will eventually just get burnt out. If you fall in that bucket of you can produce quality music that's actually good in a 1 to 2 week time frame, and you're in a situation where you're not running like paid marketing campaigns or collaboration marketing campaigns or whatever it is, you're just releasing music and posting a ton of social media content, like a song every 1 to 2 weeks, and then social media content every damn day on like TikTok and Instagram. If you fit those two buckets, it might be a valid strategy for you. In fact, there's a good chance it will actually work fairly well. I know several people that it's worked pretty great for. So it doesn't necessarily, Jesse, destroy musician streams. However, I mostly agree with Jesse here that most of you should not be releasing that fast. And it's not because Nic's strategy doesn't work. It's just that Nic's kind of falls in that natural place, right? The type of music he makes, it's not like, it's actually more complicated than what I explained. Like I'm assuming he's outsourcing his beats, so he's not writing them from scratch himself. But he actually has like singing and stuff, and his vocals aren't like, it's actually good music from what I could tell. It's not really my style, but it seems like it's all good. So he's producing music really fast, but it seems to be pretty good quality from what I can tell. And he makes this really aggressive content, and his content's actually quite sophisticated. There's like dancing and acting and stuff, and he's producing it at a fast pace. So he does have the quality, and he is pumping out the volume at that pace. So for him, it's working great. I just don't think 95% of people will fall into a genre that it can work for, and they can do it at the pace that someone who's doing this full time can possibly do. As far as I know, Nic's whole job is just creating content, creating music, right? Maybe it wasn't at the start, but it definitely is now. So for 95% of you, I don't think that's an option, and I think Jesse's slower release schedule, which is what I would generally recommend, releasing music every 4 to 8 weeks, is generally going to be the best approach for you. Releasing 1 to 2 weeks is just like ludicrous, especially if you're doing like progressive metal or something where it's like everything's really, really complicated and stuff. You might work on a song for like 2 months, right? Like I've done that in the past. on and off, you're working on several songs and it takes you months to craft the final version, and then you have to go record it, and since everything's so difficult, you know, every genre kind of has its own pacing and limitations and advantages, and that you really have to factor that in when you're picking your release strategy so you don't start releasing shit music, because no amount of marketing is going to save shit music. It doesn't matter how much you spend, it doesn't matter how good your content is. If the music sucks, people will just stop listening. So the music has to be good, and if you're sacrificing the quality to meet this arbitrary release schedule that never was designed to work for you in the first place, you're just setting yourself up to fail. Now, I want to emphasize and be fair to Nick in this case. I don't think he ever said that what worked for him is something that works for everyone. So I don't think this is like Nick saying this thing and he's like destroying people's things, like how Jesse's phrasing it. I think it's really that Nick's has always been showing what worked for him, and then a lot of artists out there just assume, okay, it worked for this guy, I'm going to do it for me. But they're not considering all these minute details of why it might very well not be the best approach for them. And they're just copying it blindly and then failing and getting burnt out or whatever it is. So my kind of big recommendation through all of this is never really just blindly accept a marketing method or just follow one individual when it comes to learning about marketing. Because every big artist I've worked with, and I've worked with thousands of artists, like one-on-one, literally over 2,000 artists and in labels, one-on-one. Some of them have like 5 million monthly listeners. They do tours every single year. They're signed to major record labels. Some of them, or a lot of them, are like really small or even just starting. And the ones that are big, the thing that's common across all of them is that they all blew up with completely different methods, right? Some of them toured religiously for a long period of time and were really, really good. Some of them get signed to major labels. Some of them ran a bunch of ads. Some of them collaborated with a really big artist. Some of them bought onto a tour. Some of them blew up on social media, right? It's different for everyone. That's the only thing that I can say that's constant, is that they're all completely different for how they get to where they are. So because of that, I think it's important for you to always get perspectives from different people so that you can interpret what might work for you, what goes good with how you feel and what kind of artist you want to be, and piece the strategies together from everyone to make your own strategy that kind of blends into something that's you. And in my opinion, both Jesse and Nick give great advice. As I said, I don't agree with everything both of them say, but both of them have had case studies and plenty of students use what they teach and have success, just like I have as well. And my stuff is completely different from Jesse's and Nick's. And if you want to learn more about how I do things, you can check out this video to see how you can get 1 million streams your first year releasing music on Spotify. And if you want to see how you can get your first 1,000 monthly listeners for free, check out this video right here. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.